So, good evening and welcome to the second session in this series of February webinars to construct the narrative of love in your life. Yeah. So, in the last session, we spoke about what we spoke about. I forgot. What was that? Yes?
Love is blind. Blind love.
Oh,
Blind
yes.
love.
We
Oh,
talked
yes.
about are you blinded by love? Yeah, and we did a process also, a guided process regarding that. So, from there, we want to take you forward to understand how uh, the flow of love from parents affects our understanding about love relationships or relationships in general. And as a child, we perceive our parents in a particular way, we perceive their relationship with each other in a particular way, and how unknowingly we carry all of that to our relationships. Am I right, Priya?
Yeah. So I think what Gayatri is trying to say over here is parents are the source of our life. The life that we carry within us comes from our parents, the mother and the father. And how we relate with them, not only in a conscious way, but in an energetic and subconscious manner, decides the carpet on which the relationships, especially love relationships, show up in life. And we would like to explore this aspect of how love relationships can be restored into the natural order once the relationships with parents are taken care of or are brought into awareness. Yes, Gayatri?
Yeah. So it has been observed that as a parents are the source of our life, our relationship with our parents is the primarily important factor in the way we lead our life, almost in every aspect. Now, if we want to talk about how the relationship with parents reflects in our relationships, then we need to first talk about how our relationship with our mother defines our relationship with life and how it defines our relationship with our own feelings and emotions. Because mother is the source of the nourishment, or our first ever contact with this life happens through mother. How she relates with emotions, how much she is in touch with her own feelings, is the same way we learn about feelings and emotions. For example, if a mother has experienced strict parenting, specifically from her mother, or maybe she grew up in a big joint family where mother was most of the time not around, then she may not have tasted the very soft kind of nurturing kind of relationship with the mother. And the taste of love that she has is the same taste of love she is going to pass on, knowingly, unknowingly. Unless when she becomes a mother, she is pretty much aware and she has worked on her own feelings, then she will offer a different kind of love to her children. or in cases where mother has lost her mother or father in her own early childhood, then with that lack, whatever she knows about life, whatever she knows about feelings and love, is the same thing that she is able to pass on to her children. Yeah, yeah, Priya.
Yeah, I would like to add here about the second point that you said, that a mother usually gives what she has experienced to the child, because that is the basis on which she lives life, or she may choose to give exactly the opposite of what uh, she has got. So, for example, like Gayatri said, a mother who has lost a parent, if there is a lack, then she might get into overparenting her children unknowingly. Or a mother who has lost a parent can choose to also give from lack only. It can be both ways. So when Gayatri says that when a mother comes into awareness, meaning she makes the choices as an adult as to what do I want to provide to my child and how do I want to provide it, is when there is a kind of a conscious parenting and a healed parent who in awareness sets a different tone for their child.
I would like to give an example over here. So, one of my clients, of course, it was not a relationship issue directly, it was about her career, but that particular session showed how her relationship with her career, her money, and her own love relationships getting impacted because of the mother's parenting style. So the session showed that her mother always encouraged her to have her own career so that she won't be dependent on her spouse like the mother felt, and that would make her feel not weak or strong. So, if you look at this on the surface, the mother was very encouraging for the daughter's career. That's a very positive aspect, right? But the context behind that was fear. If you don't become independent, then you will be dependent on your husband for money, and that won't be a very good thing. Because she had a perception of difficulty in such a relationship or such a situation with her own husband. So this daughter grew up making a career, but it all came from the place of judgment about relationship, judgment about a would-be partner, judgment about uh, the one, a woman who does not work or does not have her own income source. So it's not about what we do or what we give our children, but it also matters that the context behind that, because that is also getting passed on. So sometimes mother wants to give something, but it is coming from her own reference of what she lacks. Yeah. Similarly, when we perceive our mother as, maybe mother doesn't feel that way, but as a child, you felt that your mother was more dependent on your father, or your father was more decisive, your father was more knowledgeable than your mother, or he was more confident. So, as a child, we all tend to take sides between our parents. In our head, we keep on taking sides. If there are arguments happening in front of us, we are deciding who is right, who is wrong. It happens very unconsciously and subconsciously. So consciously, we try to become like the parent we agree with, and subconsciously, we become like the parent we disagree with or we are rejecting in such situations. So most of the times, the stuff that is happening between our parents is between them. They are husband and wife to each other. But we as children see that and we make that as the carpet for our life because that's the first ever adult relationship that we are getting to know as a child. Yeah, Priya, you want to add anything?
I would just like to, go with the flow and say that the context in which we are discussing all of this is to become aware of how the emotions or the entanglements or how the incompletions with each of our parents and the incompletions between them are carried by us unknowingly, unconsciously in our lives. So I remember, a statement by Bert Hellinger, who's considered the father of family constellation therapy. He says that when a child is born, the mother and father come, but the husband and wife have already been there. So it is not for the child to understand or judge or come in the space between the husband and wife. The life for the child starts when the child is born. So the context of we sharing all of this about the mother, about the father, about the relation between them is how are we taking on life from where we started? Most times it is no, because then it shows up as issues in life. And one of the most important things is love relationships. So from that context, if you can look at what are the spaces or what is the relationship with your mother or your father or the relation in between them, then that can give you a lot of insights about your own life and how you are choosing to take it forward. So the statement is as simple as this, Rucha. He says that when a child is born is when a couple becomes a mother and father. But they are a husband and wife even before the child is born. So the husband-wife relationship exists even before the child is born, and it is not for the child to understand or judge that relationship.
But the child does that unconsciously. Uh, Ideally, the couple should not discuss the things between them in front of children, like the fights, the arguments should be done behind the closed door. And when they are in front of the children, they need to be in the role of mother and father. But of course, that is a ideal thing, right? And life happens. So children take sides, children judge, children label parents, uh, mother and father as strong and weak or vice versa. And that's when the story for the child starts getting altered because now they are no more living their own life. Now they are no more creating from their own healthy perspectives, but they have already started using the colored glasses. So this session is about becoming aware of how we perceive our relationship, our parents' relationship, how we perceive our father and mother, and how we are taking that with us when we are walking towards our adult relationships. Now we are talking about mother here primarily because the first contact of the child is with mother. 9 months, yeah, the child fetus is inside the mother, and everything that mother goes through, the child goes through, because for the child there is no separation, there is no boundary. And even after the first independent breath that happens after the birth, the child is primarily important on the mother for its survival. And now, when child keeps growing up, slowly child comes under the influence of secondary caretaker, that is father. So there is a particular age group when for a boy or a girl both, the relationship with father or how their father perceives them becomes important. For a child, uh, for a daughter particularly, her father is the first man she uh, idealizes. Yeah. So the way she perceives her father, or the way her father approves of her, validates of her, or is not validating of her, will define a lot about how she is going to behave in love relationships. At the same time, for a boy, the way father treats the mother and the way this boy is perceiving that will define how he is going to treat a woman in his own relationship. And if a child is growing up and at a particular age, there is a healthy separation, means a girl becomes a woman and a boy becomes a man. That's when, in a healthy manner, they walk forward and go ahead towards their own life. Of course, in every aspect, but if we look at the topic of this webinar series, then they become ready for their own love relationships. Yeah. So many daddy's girl or mama's boys, even if they get married, even if they have a stable relationship, unconsciously they are comparing the partner with their parent. You must have heard where a man says that, you know, my mother used to cook it this way, you don't make it the same way. Or maybe a wife is constantly comparing the husband with father, that how my father used to take care of my mother, but you don't do that for me. So if you catch yourself doing that in your relationship, it is time to know that you are coming from your relationship with your mother or your father, and you are trying to make your partner become that. Yeah. So in this way, when a person is entangled with their parents, their love relationship is definitely uh, definitely planned to get doomed, because they will not be available to their partner as they are. So it cannot work. Yeah? Of course, you might think that when we are saying this, we are saying this with so much of confidence, and does it have to be that way? But the work that Bert has done and whatever amount of work that we have done with our clients, this has been proven true again and again with almost every client. So from that perspective, we are coming, and we want to share this with you. I think that's what is the gist of today's topic. So, yeah, Priya.
I would like to share, in fact, an example of a client who I had. And she came for specifically her relationship with her husband. And what showed up as a dynamic, in short, was that she wasn't, in her head, getting the support that she was getting from her father. Like, she was not free from her father, or healthy. There was no healthy separation from her father for her to be free with her husband as an adult and accept him for who he is. So when Gayatri says that there could be a comparison, there could be wanting the same way that a person has their parents, that might create a relationship which is not authentic, because then the partner doesn't show up authentically as an adult, because the person is not standing authentically as an adult in that relation. Either there is a need to replicate the same, or there is a need to fill a lack, and hence they are not available.
That's the reason when we work with a client on relationship issue, I think 9 out of 10 times the issue goes back to either mother or father.
Yeah.
And it's again not a surprise. Because for the child, the world is parents. So how the child has perceived uh, his or her own parents is how the life is going to show up. So I think this is what we wanted to share. Shall we start with the guided process? Okay, got it. So we want you to sit with yourself. Uncross your hands and fingers. Keep your feet flat on the ground. You can. And close your eyes. And imagine yourself in a room of your choice where you feel comfortable, you feel safe. Absolutely your own space. And now, imagine your father and your mother in the room. They're standing together. And you are standing at a distance from them. Make a mental note of the distance at which you are standing from your parents. And as you look at them when they stand together, notice what thoughts come to you about them. What is your perception of their relationship? Just become aware of it. And now look at your mother. As you look into her eyes, how do you feel in your body? What do you think of her? What are a few qualities that you like? And what are the qualities in her you dislike? How does she seem to you in her relationship to your father? Aspects of her personality you want in yourself? Which parts of her personality you do not want to come in you? As you become aware of all of this, you don't have to change anything. Just become aware of what it is and acknowledge all of it as it is. Now, look at your father. What happens in your body as you look into his eyes? Are there particular kinds of thoughts and feelings? What do you adore in him? What do you dislike in him? Where do you want to become like him? And where do you not want to become like him at all? Is your body responding to all these observations? How do you perceive your father in his relationship to your mother? What do you think about both of them in relation to each other? What judgments do you have about their relationship to each other? Are you rejecting anything about any one of them? As you become aware of all these things, both of them, and say this to them only if you feel like. Dear father and dear mother, you both have given me life. I receive it as it is. And whatever has been and is between the two of you belongs to the two of you. I am just a child. And I take my rightful place as a child, leaving the stuff between the two of you with you. Please, if you are able to say this, how is your body responding when you are saying this to them. Do you feel like you're ready to bow down to them and receive their love and blessings as they have to offer it to you? You can then bow down, open your heart, and receive their blessings and their love as it is. Aware of how you feel in your body as it comes to you. How do you feel with the blessing and love of your parents with you? With awareness, thank them and now let them go to their respective places. And once you feel ready, slowly coming back in the here. Rub your palms on each other. Rub them on your eyes. Allow yourself to become present to this moment. And slowly and gently open it. Take a sip of water if you need to. And take a note of the things that you observe for yourself, either mentally or physically, whatever suits.